we're now officially living in the next-gen world of gaming. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X have landed, and millions of gamers out there enjoying their upgraded visuals and faster loading times that come with these consoles. But then there's a slightly darker side. Aside from stock issues, people not being able to get hold of these consoles like me, there have been tons of gamers out there who have been reporting console failures or problems with the new Xbox and the PlayStation, such as overheating, pixelated screens, some other little issues out there, which have, hindered their enjoyment somewhat. And it's been very frustrating, especially because the stock issues means they can't get replacements so easily. But we have to remember, this is not a new thing. It seems almost every generation has had problems with launch systems. So we're going to take a few minutes. We're going to discuss some problems we've personally faced with launch consoles, with our console launch nightmares chat. And just a note, we're not talking specifically about problems we've had on launch day per se, but rather consoles we've bought on launch day or very close to launch day that have had problems down the line maybe. So up first, let's go with Chris.
Okay, you just
All right, so I had a couple different ideas for what I wanted to do, and I kept flip-flopping back and forth. But I'm going to tell both of them really quickly because they're not going to take too long. So my first one is the PSP. Did you guys buy a PSP, like a launch PSP, I should say?
I did not. I own a PSP, but not launch.
Okay.
This one has no battery, but I literally just pulled it out of my desk drawer. I remembered that I have one.
Is that a launch PSP?
It's a.
That looks like one of the newer models. That's a Slim.
Yeah, it's a 2000. Oh no, it's a 3000. Holy crap!
Ooh,
I gotta get a battery in this thing.
Look at this guy.
So I did get a launch PSP, and I don't know if you guys remember, but a lot of them were having issues with like dead or frozen pixels.
Yeah,
and I had I think it ended up getting. I got one, and it had a bunch of them all over, just sporadically all over the screen. And once you see it, and once you notice it, you can't not see it. And it drove me crazy. And I just spent a bunch of money on this. I'm like, I'm taking it back. I took it back, opened the new one. The new one had like a few more in it. And I'm like, oh, God, this sucks. I'm going to just take it back again. Maybe the third time I won't have any. The third one I got had like one dead pixel. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just going to keep it. And so I ended up keeping that one. But I think after that launch, window of units, they fixed whatever was having problems with their screens. I don't know if they just had a bad supplier or what ended up happening, but those were really bad. And I remember that being a big issue. Were you working GameStop during that launch, Scotty?
No, that was right before me because I had to look at the date because that was when I was in college and I was really gung-ho on the music scene and like getting into bands and stuff. So that was 2005, March 2005. So I was I didn't even know the PSP existed, to be honest with you. Yeah. I didn't start working GameStop till 2008.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't have been working, GameStop for this next one either. My second system I wanted to talk about really quickly is the PlayStation 1. And I don't know if you guys remember your one of your systems eventually, that first model, the first version, because then they made the slim version or whatever.
That was a while, but yeah, the tinier.
Yes, yeah. So, but that original version, eventually, a lot of them would just stop reading discs, and it would just stop spinning. And I don't remember where I found out about it, or where. Maybe it was in a game magazine. But if you flipped it on its upside down, it would read it. I don't know how it would do that, but
there had to be something physically with the motor, I would assume at that point.
Maybe. And we bought a launch unit, a PlayStation 1, and then I think like a few days later Sony dropped the price on it or something, and we ended up taking it back to get our money back. But in the when we or exchanged it for a new one, I think I can't remember what happened. My dad, that's what it was. My dad was like, "Okay, I can go back and save $100. I'm just going to take this one back to the store and get my money back, and then I'm going to buy you guys a new one for $100 less." And so he ended up doing that. That system that he bought, like not more than a few months later, started doing that thing where it wouldn't read the discs. So we had to flip it over. And we probably could have taken it back to get a new one after that because it was probably within the warranty, but we just never did. We're like, it works. And so we just, every time you put a disc in, you close it and then flip it upside down and like you press the start button and it would work fine. And it worked fine like that for years and years and years. We never,
I just picture your friends coming over and like you guys know how back in the day when one TV was broken, you just get another one and stack it on top of the TV that's broken. People walk into the pal's house like, oh, there's the pals. They got 3 TVs stacked and like every console's upside down. What's going on with them?
One TV had to be sideways. That's the only way it would display.
Oh,
pretty good.
That is great. That is great. So yeah, I've actually, there's one of our feedbacks or questions we got is from Zombie Hunter, who talks about his launch horror stories. So thanks, Zombie Hunter, for sending this in. Target screwed me in sending the unit a week late than what I was expected. So that's he's actually about the current launch problems. So I don't know if he's he's ordered a PlayStation or an Xbox, but yeah, he's relating to I guess kind of the stock issues this time around. So yeah, it's killer. It's so annoying for some of us because some of us we've missed that pre-order window. We weren't able to even get the order in. But then there's some other people out there they've got the order in and they're not sending it, basically, which is really fun. I think one of my friends is in that situation. He ordered it, well, basically when pre-orders first came out over here, and he put down a deposit or put down the money, locked in the pre-order, and then it's like, yep, it's coming next week or tomorrow or whatever. And it's like, I still haven't got it. And he called up the store and they're like, yeah, we're not going to be able to send it for a while. It's like, seriously? Like, would you want to cancel it? And he's like, no, I want to get it. Like, I'm not going to cancel it. So yeah. I
mean, at that point, he'll probably find it somewhere and then end up canceling the other one.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. He's going to keep an eye out other places, but he doesn't want to lose out on that pre-order almost because it's like gold dust at the moment. So, because some places are sort of saying early December they're expecting to get new stock in over here at least, which is not good. Yeah. But, and so I actually have a couple of stories, but this is the one. So if we've got time, I might tell my other ones, which are a lot quicker. So this one's a little bit longer, but hopefully it'll be good. So this is a true story of heartache and first world problems, really. So grab the tissues and strap in, folks, because so when the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 were announced and going to come out, I was actually going to hold off because the only console at that point I bought at launch was the Dreamcast. And the Game Gear, actually. So Dreamcast and Game Gear. But I don't normally buy consoles at launch very often. So I was going to hold off buying an Xbox 360. But then I heard that Elderscrolls Oblivion was going to be exclusive for the Xbox 360 and a launch title. And Morrowind is one of my favourite RPGs or adventure games of all time. And because that game just blew my mind when it first launched. I was like, oh my God, you can basically go anywhere and do anything. This is incredible. I can sneak into someone's house and steal a book if I want to. That's so cool. I mean, that sounds weird, but I thought it was amazing. And then I saw, I know. And I saw the early screenshots of Oblivion and I was like, that looks beautiful. It looks amazing. It looks so lifelike and excited me in more places than I care to mention. And I've been wanting to get a new Elder Scrolls game for years, so I threw caution to the wind and slapped down a deposit to secure myself one of these lovely consoles. And it cost me around £300 with a game. That's what the deal they were doing at the time. And I should mention, and Chris can probably verify this, I had a terribly paid job at the time. I was barely making minimum wage, basically, and still living with my parents at the time. So this was a huge deal for me because I couldn't really afford much. I could get the odd game here and there, but yeah, like laying down £300 at once, that's like took me ages to save up for, basically. So yeah, so then launch day drew closer, and then Bethesda actually announced Oblivion was delayed. It was no longer going to be a launch title, and it was no longer going to be Xbox 360 exclusive. It would be out on PlayStation 3. I think it was going to be launched on Xbox slightly earlier than PlayStation 3, though, so it's kind of a semi-timed exclusive. But it was delayed, so I was a bit gutted. But there were still a few other games I had my eye on, like Perfect Dark Zero, Cameo, Call of Duty 2. So I kept my deposit. and I ended up grabbing Perfect Dark Zero. Perfect
boy.
Dark on the N64 was one of my favorite first-person shooters. Like at the time, I was like, "This is such a good game. It's going to be amazing. Rare can do no wrong. They made so many great games in the past," and I was so disappointed with Zero. I won't say it's terrible, but it wasn't great. They kind of ruined everything that made Perfect Dark so good back in the day, and it's because it was my only game I had with it. You could download demos, which was cool, but it was the only game I had with it. I forced myself to play it. I completed it. I had some enjoyment with it, but I was still disappointed, even though I finished it nevertheless. But keeping me going through that time, I kept reading the early previews and reviews of Oblivion as they were coming out in the magazines and online, and the game just looked and sounded so fantastic. I could hardly believe it. This was the true next-gen game I'd been waiting for. Everything I read about it, they could ride horses. Oh my god, amazing. You could drop something from the top of like a mountain, it would roll down a hill, like because it had real physics. I was like, this is so cool, it's going to be off the chain. And then a few months rolled on, I managed to get a couple more games. I think at that point I got like Cameo, maybe I did pick up Call of Duty 2, I can't remember now. And then Oblivion finally came out, and I was so excited, I bought the special edition on day one. So yeah, for those audio listeners, I'm actually holding up my original copy, the special edition.
Cardboard box, baby.
Cardboard box, oh yeah. And it's got like an Imperial coin and like a collector's edition notebook and stuff. I won't get this one out actually now. I was about to, but I won't.
I was looking while you're opening that stuff up. I was double checking because I was like, well, they were backwards compatible. That didn't kick in until 2 years after the launch of the 360.
Oh yeah.
So you didn't even you literally had Perfect Dark Zero.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But yeah, I picked up. So yeah, as I say, I picked up the limited edition version of Oblivion, and I skipped home like Charlie Bucket with his golden ticket in hand. I was so happy, so excited. I booted up the game and started playing. And I finished the tutorial dungeon, and I was like, this is so cool. Like the tutorial dungeon wasn't the best experience because it's very dark and dingy and a bit slow and long, but it's still kind of cool for me. And then you step out into the world for the very first time, and it was amazing because there's like grass and trees and the beautiful flowers in front of you, and like there's the moat or river around the sort of castle dungeon thing that you leave. I was like, this is so cool. But I was playing on my crappy little TV, like CRT TV in my bedroom, and it wasn't very good or very big. And I stopped playing because I had an idea. My parents were out of the house at the time, and downstairs it was still a CRT TV. It wasn't HD or anything, but it was a bigger CRT TV with better sound and better picture quality, like better colors. It was really good for playing games on. So I was like, I'm doing it. I'm taking my Xbox 360 downstairs so I could experience this in the best way possible that I could at the time. And so yeah, took it downstairs, plugged in my Xbox 360, connected to the lovely bigger TV, set the TV to the correct channel to make sure it was there. And then a little tingle in my hand, quiver in my heart. I pressed the power button on my Xbox 360, and I got an E74 error code on screen and the red flashing lights on my console. I got the red ring of death, and I was absolutely devastated. It's like the one game I've been dying to play before the Xbox 360 even came out. It's the one game I bought the bloody console for, killed my console, basically. And I actually think I nearly cried. Like, I was actually genuinely just that upset. I was like, what do I do?
Probably not even out of sadness, but also out of stress at that point because of everything you physically just did to get down there to that spot.
Yeah, it was just like I built it up so much, and I experienced just a glimmer of it. It's like I just tasted the game. I was like, this is so good. Oh my god, this is everything I wanted. And then it's just like, what do I? It was almost like, what do I do? What can I do? I couldn't ask my parents for like another £300 console. And yeah, I was so disappointed. It actually took me a few months to get myself a new console. I think I finally got it replaced by Microsoft because they started doing the refunds or returns on the Red Ring of Death consoles. Oh my god! But I was so disappointed.
Were they ever allowing you to do returns on to the store? You could take them to the store. I thought you had to take them directly to Microsoft.
That was it. Yeah, you had to contact Microsoft or something about it. They arranged for a pickup or something. So
I remember I had to send mine to Mexico when I lived in Guam.
Oh my god!
It was the weirdest thing.
60% failure rate, ladies and gentlemen. 60% failure rate with launch consoles.
God. Yeah.
That has to be the all-time high, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm
360.
pretty sure that because
Yeah.
there's been launches of games like I forget which Call of Duty, but one of the Call of Duties was so mass produced that some discs did not even actually have data on them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, good stuff. I want to say console wise, that was the biggest flop because
Yeah.
even like as poorly as some sales were, I don't think things backfired as much as they did on that.
Mm. Yeah, it's. So I think up until that point, the PSP was one of the most renowned ones for the pixels, but that didn't stop you being able to play the games per se.
Right.
This just you had a brick basically, and there were theories like there were people who managed to fix it by overheating their Xbox by like wrapping in towels. I'd seen the videos online. I tried that and stuff. That did not work at all for me.
My buddy AJ had a launch Halo 3 styled Xbox, so he was never going to get rid of that, the 360.
Oh, yeah.
And I borrowed it from him for something once, and I remember he couldn't be at this event that I was doing, and he was like walking me through how to fix it, and it ended with me asking like, okay, wait a minute, how many goats do I need to sacrifice just to get your stupid system to turn on? Like it was ridiculous. It was like the Fonzie starting a car or something, you know?
Yeah, it's oh man. But yeah, that was like the worst experience I've ever had. Like
we should briefly mention that Sony did not go without errors this launch as well. The PS3, there was the yellow light of death, but that was such a smaller percentage of happening to people.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing at one point, but yeah, because people are like, oh, Sony's doing it as well now. But yeah, the Xbox 360 was just notorious for that. Yeah. But man, yeah. And actually just touching it, because you kind of sort of semi-touched on it, Turkey chasing TJ, he had one of his launch stories. So the day he got home with the Dreamcast on launch, he had Sonic Adventure. And then the game had loads of horrible glitches and problems with it. So my parents had to bring me back to EB Games the next day to explain that the game didn't work. Maybe there was a problem with the console or game. I went through 3 copies of Sonic Adventure and another console before I found one that worked. It wasn't until months later I heard from people who had the same issues with the first batch of Sonic Adventure. It was very frustrating. Thankfully, I didn't have the other launch games that had the same issue. So yeah, I guess in America at least, Sonic Adventure had lots of problems with some of the launch titles of that game. It's because you can't touch on Call of Duty, not some of them not having data. There's similar things with Sonic Adventure, it seemed. I also vaguely remember the first batch. It's not a launch title, but Metropolis Street Racer. I think they did like 2 or 3 versions of that, because the first version there was a problem with the kudos system in that game. There's a way you could cheat and basically get tons of kudos or something, or it's the other way around that you couldn't get enough kudos on one of the tracks.
Oh, kudos.
Kudos. Sorry, yeah, kudos.
Sorry.
Kudos.
I'm an American. You saying what? Sorry.
I'm probably saying it wrong. Don't worry. It's probably not you. It's probably me. So just blame Graham. So there was a problem with that system, so I had to reprint the game or something.
Well, that generation had basically every launch title by Midway, Ready to Rumble Boxing, Hydro Thunder, and Mortal Kombat Gold. Some of those games did not have audio working properly, or some actual visual elements were bugging out pretty bad. So they immediately re-released them with the tacky as hell, hot new like explosion. Literally looks like a cereal box with super prize inside kind of sticker on the cover, like it's on the manual cover art. For those 3 games, they were re-released. So pro tip for collectors of Dreamcast out there, you want the hot new, or as we like to call them, the hot and ready versions of Hydro Thunder, Mortal Kombat, and Ready to Rumble Boxing.
Oh yeah. So Scotty, what was your launch problems?
I've been pretty fortunate overall. I've not the only sorry, I was talking over you a little bit. There's a little bit of a delay there. But the only consoles that I got launch day were the Dreamcast, which is mine right here, with the Quake 3 Arena sticker on the lid, because I am awesome. And the Nintendo Wii, I got day 1 as well. Nice. I don't want to tell my Dreamcast story because now I feel bad about TJ's, but I mean, the downside of mine, I didn't get to skip school that day. I don't know. That was my grand scheme. But I got Sonic Adventure. I got the VMU. I played it, and it was good. But and the Wii, I mean, there's horror stories around the Wii and whatever, because it was just short supply, fake demand, all that garbage and all those rumors and whatever. I actually had a lot of fun with that one. I got a Wii day one. I was actually at the GameStop that I ended up working for, no joke, a couple months later. But I was in line, got it day one, got Wii Sports, Twilight Princess. That's like all me and my college roommates played for a couple months. And what was fun was that was right before Thanksgiving break. Going back, I was a junior in college, so my high school buddies and I were still kind of hanging out regularly. And one of them was going to wait for a Wii on Black Friday. So I was like, I got nothing to do. I'm in college. I'm on vacation. So we went out to Best Buy at like 4 a.m. and we're just sitting in line playing our DSs, like making friends with people in line. Like we'd be like, all right, we got to go. We're going to make a McDonald's run. Are you guys cool to hold our spots? And they're like, yeah. So that was kind of fun. So it's not really, he ended up getting one. I was literally just there to keep him company. So that was cool. And like the only other console related type launch story I have is another fun one where I didn't have a 360 yet. I got the PS3 before the 360. When I was working at GameStop, Resident Evil 5 came out with a 360 collector's edition. The only thing that was different about it is the 360 was solid red. It literally did not say Resident Evil anywhere on it, but I worked that midnight launch and I was getting RE5 for PS3 and 360. So works that midnight launch. Normally when you do that, you don't get out of work until like 1 or 1:30 in the morning. So I'd get home about 2 a.m. and my buddies were waiting online. We booted up Resident Evil 5. We played it throughout the night. I had to open the store the next day. So no joke, 8 a.m. rolls around. I say to my buddy online, I'm like, so I got to go hop in the shower and head to our store and open it up. So I did. And that was a lot of fun. And I do not remember that shift, except that a lot of it was like, what's going on, guys? Yeah, playing Resident Evil 5 all night. I was here last night. It's a great game. You should buy it. What's that? You want 10 copies? You got it. Okay. And I remember I did not sit down for my lunch that day, though, because if I did, I would have fallen asleep. So, and so, but the thing is, like, maybe it's my specific GameStop, but if there was a console launch coming up, it might have to do with the staff as well. But like, we would have our pre-order list, and we would have, you know, a lot of the regulars were, of course, on that, but we were told to call out and say, hey, just a reminder, you've got $50 down. That was the thing, too, is it used to be, they learned the hard way from this, like to pre-order a game, minimum of $5 goes towards the final price. To pre-order a console at one point, it was $5, but they upped the ante with that to make it either $25 for handhelds or $50 for consoles, because that way you would think people would remember, I have $50 sitting at the store towards towards a $200, $300, $400, $500 thing. So we'd have the list of like pre-orders. We'd have next up the people that, like, if we got enough in day of, we would let them know, hey, it's first come, first serve, but you should probably be here launch day. And we would do like a list. Some stores wouldn't even do that. They would just say, fuck it, we do not care about our customers. But we were kind of the cool people that were more personable and enjoyed the people that shopped at our store. So we were okay with that. So like the Xbox One and PS4 launches, I do remember they were not crazy, but it was a lot of like, okay, come in, get your number. We had a line, we had like things lined off and blocked off, and we'd call in the next crowd. They'd already had, and we would literally go out to the line, say, what games did you want to get with it that maybe they couldn't pre-order or for whatever reason you couldn't do it. So we would literally set the games aside and like have them ready to go with their consoles. Boom, bam, boom, pre-order, you ringed out and you're good to go. Need to pre-order anything else. So like, maybe it's my store. I've never experienced like super duper, oh, what do you mean my console's not here? Like, where's my console? I'm gonna kick your ass in anything like that. Like maybe it was GameStop, maybe it was my store. We were a pretty well-oiled machine to get people in and out, and because we wanted to go out and leave and like go and play our games as much as anybody else did. Yeah. So why are we waiting around being idiots? You know?
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Sorry, everybody. I'm okay with everything.
Everything's coming up, Scotty. I love that. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Do you think we've got time to hear a couple of other little quick stories from me, or you good?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm fine with them.
I'll be very quick with these. So I got Game Gear I don't think it's actually on launch day, but it might have been just after launch day. My gran got it for my birthday, basically, that year. So I think it's the original launch model, as it were. But yeah, I got my Game Gear. I love my Game Gear so much. It was brilliant. It lasted a while, but I remember getting Mortal Kombat at one point, playing the heck out of Mortal Kombat. I thought it was amazing on Game Gear, especially. And I don't know if you know about it. There's a move, basically, if you hold back, like to the left, basically, or back, you can do some like cool kicks with Liu Kang. And I think one of his special moves you can pull off by putting back as well, and then forward and doing a fireball or something. But basically, the game kind of got stuck of just him walking backwards. So I just kept doing this cool kick, and he just kept like doing a roundhouse kick to people. I was like, oh, I've cracked the game somehow. Someone made this cool cheat or something that I can put off this move like as much as I like. And then I finished the game for a bit. I was like, oh, I'll stop that and I'll play Sonic 2 because I had Sonic 2 on there. And suddenly Sonic kept running left, like wouldn't stop running left. I was like, oh, something's gone wrong with this. And it basically turned out when I was playing Mortal Kombat, I'd been playing it so much and pressed down on the left so much, it kind of cracks something underneath the D-pad. So it's basically forcing it to go back constantly. And yeah, luckily it was still within warranty, so it must have been within the first year that my mum was able to take it back to the shop and get a replacement one. But I think the next one I also had problems with the D-pad, like the D-pad came out. So I remember being this is really naff. I basically got a couple of 10p coins and was using that on top of it to press as a D-pad, basically. Yeah, just really janky. But yeah, those were a couple of problems with the Game Gear. And Chris, I don't know if you remember this. With the original Xbox, I had one which was, again, I didn't get it actually on launch day, but I think it was one of the early models, like one of the launch models effectively, because I got it not that long after launch. I've been playing on it for ages, playing Halo and everything. Halo 2 came out. We'd been playing Halo 2 online a little bit, and this was back when Sega Nerds was quite big and stuff, and we had organised like a semi-official Sega Nerds style like online tournament or something, or we were going to play against another website or something, and it came to the night, I was like, oh, all excited, turned on my Xbox, it just would not work. Like Halo 2 was stuck. I couldn't actually get the disk drive open. Halo 2 was stuck in there. Can you remember this, Chris? I actually was messaging you going, dude, my Xbox has just died.
I can't remember. Oh my God.
Oh no. It was like, you're like, where are you? I'm like, dude, my Xbox is just not working. You're like, we're about to start playing. I'm like, I can't. It was in the evening, the stores were shut and stuff. I think the next week I went out and then bought a Crystal Xbox. They had limited edition Crystal Xbox. So I got a replacement quite quickly. But it was just that awkward. It's basically like a semi-transparent, whitish Xbox. Chris, I did show you back in the day, Chris, but you must have forgotten about it. I think that model might have. Oh no, I might still have that model. I can't remember if that's the model I've still got. If that one died as well, but yeah, just again, great game I wanted to play. Halo 2. Well, I played it before, obviously, but yeah, there's something it just stopped working the moment I needed it to work to play online with against people. But yeah, that was another spectacular failure for one of my launch products. So yeah, oh man. But yeah, so I think that's a lot of great stories there. And Scotty, you've been a lucky son of the gun there with these consoles, I guess. But
I guess
yeah.
I looked up the Crystal Xbox thing. They're worth a pretty penny if you've still got yours lying around.
Okay, maybe I'll go and check it out. Yeah, see.
Yeah, like over $100 loose still.
Oh wow, really?
Ooh, yeah, I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt, but
I think I've still got the box somewhere actually.
I wish I had horror stories, but I guess I'm just so fortunate.
Consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, consider yourself lucky. I mean, it's funny now, but at the time, it's so not, like, especially when you want to play the game you wanted to play for years. God damn it!
Right,
and that's the thing. You very well could have had one had you ended up getting one of the new PS5s or Series X's or S's.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, you guys. Here's the thing. My kids aren't here. I did get a Series S, but it's for Christmas. And so it's put away. So I hope for damn sure when we open it up, we're not going to have some of these problems. Because that was
you might want to test that out first.
Yeah. It's not like I could go get it fixed anywhere or get a replacement right now. So I think everyone's just kind of SOL, just kind of waiting. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, give us an update on that, Chris, if you can. And also for any listeners, any viewers, let us know your launch day horror stories, because we'd love to hear them. As terrible as they are at the time, they're always kind of slightly funnier down the line.
Honey, I gotta tell you about this sandwich.